Hello and welcome to Captain of Industry. I'm B-Ball Joe, and this is a pre-alpha release of Marek and Philip, the only two main developers on this game. So as I understand, there are a few more people that help them out every once in a while, but it's overall a two-developer team, which, let me tell you, I've played for about an hour so far. It is pretty good. There's a lot going on. You kind of see a little bit of what you can. I haven't gotten to rocket research yet, but I'm assuming it's part of the game. It may not be there right now, but it's a lot going on. It's essentially a factory builder management and simulation game where you build up your colony from nothing. Yeah, let's jump right in. Okay, so here we are. This is our ship. This is our crew, our little quarters, little housing. Here's a little abandoned communication station that we can start recycling. We have a couple vehicles that will start running around, and you don't control them directly, but you can assign them to things every once in a while. You have resources here. You have some copper, some diesel, rubber, construction parts. You also have a little overview up here. And then you see in the top left your population, how much food you have left, how many workers are currently idle, your unity. This is like a bonus that you can use to do things magical. Like if you need to repair something really bad and you don't have anything available to repair it, you can use unity points, but you can only earn them, but you can also lose them. Overall health, and then how many trucks are doing what, how many are in queues, like what you have available so you can actually get things done. It's pretty cool. Next thing, I will show you the research once we start that. When you start the game, you have a little dialogue here with your crew, and essentially they will tell you you need to build a research lab and a furnace, and you need to get farms up and going because you need food for your people. Makes sense. Let me take that chance to let you know, if I'm doing this video correctly, then the Kickstarter launched about 12 hours ago for Captain of Industries, which is cool. I have a link down in the description. I'll also show you the Steam page down there too. They have a webpage, captainofindustries.com, pretty simple. And then the closed alpha is planned. I'm reading this here off my other screen, so you can't probably tell, but the closed alpha is planned for Q3. The closed beta is planned for Q4, and early access on Steam is planned Q1 2022. So it is a little ways out, but let me tell you, there's already a lot going on. I talked to the devs real briefly, seeing if I can make a full series out of it, and they told me there's about 6 hours of playable interaction going on right now. I played for 1 hour. I lost the game twice. We'll see how far we will take this. I have a little scheme or plan for what I want to do. But let's get started and stop talking about stuff. First things first, we need a research lab. So you have all your buildings down here. There's metallurgy, you have a smokestack, charcoal smoker, blast furnace, metal caster. All of these are important, and I will show you what you do with them later. Transport. Trucks are essentially do-it-alls. Right now, if you zoom in, they have empty beds, but they can essentially transform into anything that you need. I am not sure if there's specialization later on, but for right now, that's what it is. We have storage for some fluid, liquid or gas for right now. Cool. We have building, the research lab. That's the first thing that we're going to build. I usually just place it pretty close to the beginning. Then housing and food market. You already have 2 of these. These are just containers that were part of your ship at some point. And then a food market. They need to be able to get to food somehow. So we have 40 months of food right now. Cool. That works. And then what else do we have? Tree harvesting. Wood is a resource that you have to worry about, and you just select them pretty intuitively. You deselect them pretty intuitively. Left click, right click, just the normal stuff. Nothing too fancy there. You have your messages I already talked about. Your statistics, it tells you what you have, what you need for maintenance. This becomes really important later on. And then other things. Honestly, I don't know right now what all of this does, and I hope that we learn that together. But cool. First things first, let's let them build this little building. And the mechanics are actually pretty cool. Let it run. These trucks are like, okay, we got to do stuff. Let's speed this up a little bit. The high speed works. So they load up with whatever they want, bring it out here, and then research lab eventually gets done. We'll pause it right now. You have workers that you need, and right now we have 75 population and 64 workers, so this should work. And we can start researching stuff. Let me zoom in a little bit. The research tree is rather extensive. I was told that most of this is potentially just a preview of what it will be, and I highly anticipate at the current state of the game that not all of this will stay where it is, not all of this will have the same stats or the same buildings or all of that. But let me tell you, there's a lot of thought into this game already at this stage, and that's awesome. But these are the ones that we need to worry about. We have iron smelting already done. We have pipes done. We will need farming pretty soon because we need food, and then we have to worry about vehicle mining and construction because we need these construction parts. So I will start with basic farming. Cool. And that can start researching. So let's do this. You usually get some messages wherever you need them, and they will help you a little bit getting along with the game, and that is awesome. You can read all of this if you want. I haven't. That's why I lost twice. So I will start trying to read a little more once it becomes appropriate. I don't want to waste too much time. Research is important, but there are other things that we need to do. For example, this guy. We would like to recycle, and recycling will give you metal scraps. But a blast furnace will take the metal scraps and coal and turn it into molten iron every 20 period of time. Great. And you can take that molten iron every 40 and turn it into iron, which means a blast furnace like this one, and there are inputs and outputs. A blast furnace like this one can produce enough output for 2 of these metal casters, and the metal casters will give you iron, and you need iron later on for these building parts up here. And there are different levels of these too, so that is awesome. But here's where we are. You will need a smokestack because I'll show you this. On the buildings, so let's take one that you already seen. On the buildings, you take metal scraps and coal, and that produces molten iron and exhaust. The exhaust has to be connected somewhere, so that's what we have the smokestack for. I'm going to put it relatively close to this, and I'll show you why, because there's a charcoal maker. I'm trying to plan this ahead a little bit and try to explain a little more of why we're doing things the way we're doing, because they're actually pretty cool. I like them. So there's this guy, and there's a little symbol that you can probably barely tell, but the smokestack also comes out of this side. And that should be pretty sweet. Trying to determine how I want to connect the coal, but I think it will just be this. Let's get some piping. We need these guys, and honestly, placing these is pretty cool, especially if you want to place them on top of each other. And that's awesome. Let's have this one run over here. That's pretty intuitive, and everything is just this blue blueprint type of thing, which is fine. Let's get these two connected. No, I said let's get these two connected. I just said that everything is pretty easy to connect. I guess I have to connect that one first, and then this one will be the output. And there's like a little splitter there. You don't have to do anything else with it, but expanding all of this is also relatively straightforward when we need to. Great. This is all set up. We pretty much have everything built that we can right now, so let's have them build everything that we can. There's our little truckies going crazy, picking up a lot of things from the building site, and that is awesome. Yeah, everything that's built should be pretty simple. And then once they're done, I will show you the next step, which is right meow. Okay, now we have these trucks. They will start picking up scrap metal from here while they can, and it will tell you there's 590 pieces. And the blast furnace will take 9 at a time and 3 coal. How do we get coal? Well, we want this guy. For 20 wood, you can produce 4 coal and 1 exhaust. Great. When I started this, I didn't understand it. You actually have to assign trucks to tree harvesting, and they will just go to the dedicated area from earlier, which is just right here. And once they get moving, we will have iron coming out of here, and we have to store that somewhere. Right now, we don't have a storage for it, and that is okay. We will get there pretty soon once this guy's done with the basic farming. So I'll fast forward a little bit and then we will go to that step. Okay, basic farming is done. Wonderful. So we can continue in our quest for everything. These guys will just do what they're supposed to do. I think he's going to pick up some coal right now, and then we'll drop it off in the blast furnace. And once the blast furnace has some, let's see how that looks. So there's a little bucket going up there, dumping some coal and iron down there. And once it is heated up, it will take 20 seconds to do something. It will send the molten, molten iron over this molten iron transporter, and that looks pretty cool, actually. There it is. Going right through. Can split at the splitter. Ignore the cars that are way too close to it, but it pulls it in here, and once the second one goes through, it will fill up all of these with these iron plates, and it actually comes up to 8, which I think is pretty awesome. Great. So with the research that we just did, we have a new spot for research available. I will do this one because that will allow us to get more construction materials, which are important. So we'll start that. There we go. They're doing their thing. They're dumping it out. I love these animations. That's great. They dump these out. Everything just falls right in there. It rains, but molten metal really doesn't care. And eventually this gets done. And then it goes into the internal storage, and it will tell you here how many it has. And I believe the internal storage is usually about 40, which is awesome. But yeah, let's speed this up so you can actually see what I'm talking about. There you go. Everything is there, and this should start running pretty smoothly, pretty fast. Yeah, I like that. Next thing, farming. We just researched that, so we have a new tab down here for farm. You can rotate and do all the things with R. I will place the farm like this. It costs 30 construction parts, but food is very, very important. And once the farm is built, I'll show you another thing about that. They really thought about a lot of things. I am honestly impressed, I think is the word. There's a game that I play that is similar to this, a little different, but similar, and it does not feel like they're doing they're doing everything their own way, which is awesome, which is what I love to see. Farm is ready now. It will require some workers. We have 43 workers left. That is good, but we need more. And then here you go. You have fertility, and you have estimated average production. And then you can assign crops. The first crop is potatoes. It takes 24 waters. It reduces fertility by 10%, and it outputs 30 food. Okay, the other one that we have right now is green manure, just letting grass grow and letting it refertilize the field. It takes 24 water, but it restores 10% fertility. So what you have to do is do real agriculture, and there's a word for this, where you rotate your crops. Because once your fertility is too low, your output is essentially 0 and you're not going to get any food. So you have to make sure that your fertility is fine. The water will refill if you give just during the normal rain, but later on you can also research some water tanks and other things that you will need. Looks like our construction is almost done, and that is wonderful. And once that is here, I will see you. Great. Research complete. Construction. So now we have the new buildings, and before I will lose something, let's pause it again. I do appreciate a game where you can actually have a planning phase and really pause the game, do the things that you need to do, read what you need to read, and then go from there. Power and beacon is the next thing, because this beacon attracts more people. I don't understand exactly how the mechanic works because we're on an island, but with the beacon you get more people, which you need to increase your worker force and your population in general. So we need that. And then there's a power generator in here, the diesel generator to be precise. That one will help you power some of the buildings. Not every building needs power right away, but once buildings need power, well, you need power. Pretty simple. Assembly. This is a manual assembly. This one does not require power. And that's what we were talking about earlier. It will take in steel plates and create those construction materials that you see, like those white signals or white signs. I'm placing it here because at some point you can research conveyor belts, and they will bring the metal straight into this building, so you don't need trucks anymore to do that for you. That's important. Where's our other thing? I built something just now. Unit storage. So, the unit storage will take in whatever you tell it to store. In this case, I wanted to store the iron, and then eventually we will connect all of this together. So this should be good. Assembly hall's ready. It wants wood and iron to produce construction parts. Very important, and it needs 6 workers to work. So this truck will bring in some iron plates, and wood is coming in from the trucks down here. Now, once your wood is chopped down, you will have to assign more locations to get it from. I found that having 2 trucks set up for this is generally good enough. I don't want to set up a second furnace at this point because this will run out pretty fast. So we will actually have to worry about, oh, here's our assembly, more talking. We'll actually have to worry about harvesting more materials, more minerals. So this is, for example, copper. Then we have coal over here. I do believe there's some oil in this area. There's some regular gravel or slag. I don't remember what this is. I didn't get that far in the tutorial, but there is a lot that we can look for, a lot that we can get into, and a lot of things that, you know, need researched. You probably remember that. But that's where we are. So for right now, we have our normal production chain set up. We have this guy that you can only store 1, and I'm going to store iron. I'm not sure why it was that small because I actually increased the UI size, but that's okay. First one can store that. This one can store construction materials because we need those, because these can only store up to 40, and that is not helpful. So everything here should be running pretty smoothly. We can add more furnaces here, and we don't necessarily need more charcoal makers because once we make our own coal, we don't need to make coal from wood anymore, and that's awesome. See how our research is doing? Research is a little slower on this one, simply because it's one of the more, it's the next level up, and that's fine. But I will complete the research, and then I will see you again next time when we can start digging up some stuff. Almost forgot, if you like this kind of stuff, I am deciding if I want to make this a mini-series or a longer series. For right now, I'm planning on 3. After the 3, I will have a little pause, and you can decide if you want to see a full series on this, maybe with this save if I survive. Maybe not, but it's kind of up to you. The game itself looks like we could have a lot of fun with it. So yeah, if you want to see more, subscribe to the channel, and definitely support the developers. They're awesome. Links in the description. Thanks for watching. Bye.